They say monsters aren't real. But what if one was, hiding behind a painted smile? Everyone remembers Pennywise the dancing clown, the red balloons, the sewers, and that eerie smile that could freeze your soul, crawl under your skin. Welcome to Derry, a small, quiet town that never existed on the map, but lives in the shadows of a true nightmare. A town where beneath one ordinary house, the remains of 30 children were found buried in the ground. This wasn't a story Stephen King imagined. It was inspired by a real-life horror. Behind the horror, there's a real story, a real town, and a real monster that once terrorized Maine in the 1970s. His name was John Wayne Gacy.
And that's exactly why we chose to examine this case. We started this channel to bring you real stories, the ones that blur the line between truth and legend. Hit that subscribe button and join us for the next one.
John Wayne Gacy grew up in Chicago. On the surface, he was a friendly, hard-working man. He ran his own contracting business. He hosted neighborhood parties, and he had a strange side hobby, performing as Pogo the Clown at parades and charity events. Parents trusted him. Kids laughed with him. No one suspected what was really going on behind closed doors. But behind that painted smile was one of the most brutal serial killers America has ever known. December 1978, a 15-year-old boy named Robert Peast vanished after telling his mother he was going to see a contractor about a job. That contractor was John Wayne Gacy. Police searched his house, and what they found froze them to the core. The moment they walked in, a strange, rotten smell filled the air. At first, they thought it was a dead animal, but as they searched for the source, they found something far worse. The body of a young boy. Then another, and another. By the time they were done, there were 33 bodies buried beneath his house. 33 innocent lives, most of them never even reported missing. The world was horrified. No one could have imagined that their friendly neighbor was hiding a nightmare beneath his smile. And when he was finally questioned about his crimes, Gacy's explanation shocked everyone even more. Behind this unthinkable evil lay a twisted, chilling reason. Murder gave him a sense of brutal dominance, and part of it was pure compulsion. John Wayne Gacy grew up in the 1940s Chicago in what looked like an ordinary middle-class home. His mother was quiet, his father was strict, and from the outside, their life seemed normal. But behind those walls, things were far from it. His father was an alcoholic who often took out his anger on the family, especially John. The beatings were harsh, but the words cut deeper. His father constantly told him he wasn't man enough. That stayed with Gacy for the rest of his life. In his early 20s, he married Marlyn Myers, the daughter of a wealthy businessman who owned KFC franchises in Iowa. Gacy wanted stability and status, and this marriage gave him both. He managed 3 restaurants, joined community clubs, and looked like a model citizen. He even became the vice president of the local JCs. But beneath that clean image, he was hiding something. Gacy started bringing young male employees to his house, showing them pornography and making sexual advances. Soon, rumors spread. In 1968, he was arrested for sexually assaulting 2 teenage boys. That's when his entire facade collapsed. Marlyn divorced him while he was in prison, taking their 2 kids with her. After serving about 18 months, Gacy was released. He moved to Chicago and decided to start over. New business, new neighborhood, new life. He married again in 1972, this time to Carol Hoff, a woman who lived nearby and had 2 daughters. Around the same time, Gacy joined a group of entertainers called the Jolly Jokers and created his clown persona, Pogo the Clown. He performed at parades, charity events, and hospitals, charming children and adults alike. At first, everything seemed normal again. Barbecues, local gatherings, clown performances for kids. But soon, Carol sensed something was wrong. A foul smell came from the crawl space, and news reports talked about missing boys. The ones last seen with John never returned. Gacy's temper had turned terrifying. By 1976, Carol had had enough and divorced him. John's mind had been deeply affected, first by his father's harsh words, and later by the trauma of 2 failed marriages. And not long after that, the murders began in full swing. He used his clown costume to his advantage. People trusted clowns, and he knew it would make it easier to lure his victims. Gacy lured young men, mostly teenage boys looking for odd jobs or just curious enough to follow him home. He'd offer them work, food, or sometimes just a place to hang out. Once inside, it turned sinister. He'd play what he called the handcuff trick, pretending it was a magician's game. But when the cuffs snapped shut, the game ended. The clown costume wasn't directly part of the killings. It was his cover. Pogo gave him access to children, trust from parents, and a shield of innocence. But psychologists later said the clown persona symbolized his split nature, one face smiling, the other hiding violence. When Stephen King learned about this horrifying story, he was inspired to write the novel It, which later became the basis for the movie we know today. Monsters aren't always under the bed. Sometimes they hide behind a painted smile. It, Welcome to Derry reminds us that the scariest stories can be terrifyingly real.
We started this channel to bring you real stories, the ones that blur the line between truth and legend. Hit that subscribe button and join us for the next one.